was Paul George. This moment, like to be a Hoosier girl in Indiana, was just amazing.
Are you just gonna see an offensive lineman for the Colts?
You can.
In a yoga class?
Mostly eat whole foods, move your body, rest your mind.
Did you ever have the itch to grow a huge yoga and Pilates company? From South Bend to Evansville and everywhere in between, this is Get In, the show focused on the Hoosier State and the incredible stories happening here today. I'm Nate Spengel, founder of Get Indiana, and I will be your host for today's conversation. Basketball fans, listen up. March starts here in Indy. We are hosting the 2025 Barbasol Horizon League Basketball Championships. Mark your calendars for Monday, March 10th and Tuesday the 11th when the top 4 teams in men's and women's basketball will square off at the Corteva Coliseum at the Fairgrounds. Right now, Cleveland State leads the men's standings with Purdue-Fort Wayne right on their heels. For the women's, Purdue-Fort Wayne is at the top just out in front of Green Bay. And we're going to get 6 incredible basketball games over a 2-day span. 4 semifinal games on Monday and both finals held on Tuesday. Action starts at noon both days, and you can buy tickets on the Horizon League website or on Ticketmaster. You also need to know about the all-new Horizon League individual membership. Fans can become Horizon League members and receive a unique Indy-centric shirt, Horizon League glassware, championship tickets, and much more. Check out all the details at horizonleague.org/Indy. Remember, March starts here in Indianapolis at Corteva Coliseum, March 10th and 11th. I will see y'all out there. Today, I'm joined by Amy Peddycord, a proud Indiana native and owner and founder of Invoke Studio, one of Indianapolis' most renowned yoga and Pilates studios. Growing up in the Hoosier State instilled a deep sense of community and passion for a holistic well-being. Over 2 decades of dedication to fitness and wellness has made her a trusted leader in Indianapolis' urban fitness scene. Today, we're going to be talking about her Indiana roots and what brought her back to the Hoosier State, the power of yoga and her entrepreneurial journey, and future plans and visions for what's going on here in central Indiana and some surrounding areas. Amy, welcome to Get In.
Thanks so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
I am super pumped. We were talking a little bit before we got rolling of kind of your journey to growing this very, very well-known yoga and Pilates studio, 2 locations here in Indianapolis, but plus some cool partnerships that offer some amazing things to Central Indiana Hoosiers. So I'm excited to dive into that. But let's take it back a little bit. Talk, what part of the state did you grow up in?
I grew up in, for the first 10 years in northern Indiana, so a tiny flashing stoplight town called North Liberty, Indiana.
No way.
Yeah.
You're from North Liberty?
I am. Do you know it?
Yeah, I went to Triton High School,
Oh,
which would be
you
Bourbon.
did?
So that would
Yeah.
be North Liberty's John Glenn?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good. Just, is it southwest of South Bend a little bit?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Wow, that's a one stoplight town for
It
sure.
is. It is. Potato Creek State Park, though, that's a hidden gem too. Like, right up
Fantastic.
there.
I was in
Yeah.
the Boy Scouts, and we always used to go over there and
you did?
hike around Potato
Yeah,
Creek.
my father helped with the legal aspects to found the park. Yeah.
And they have
Forever
that North Liberty that's close to, they put in like a new athletic complex up in like maybe La Paz.
Oh,
which
they
is kind of
did?
like right in that
I don't
area.
know that. Okay, I don't go up there very
Okay,
often.
so 10 years in North Liberty.
Yes.
And then where?
Then I moved to Zionsville. My parents got divorced, and so I went to Zionsville High School and then Indiana University for undergrad.
What did you study there?
I did international relations and psychology.
Okay, and what did you want to do with that?
I wasn't really sure. So then right after school, I had an international focus. I love Bloomington. I loved going to Indiana University, but I used it as an opportunity to study abroad. So I studied abroad a couple of times. And then right after college, I moved to San Francisco and worked at an international high school exchange organization. And it was great. But then my nonprofit boss then kind of pulled me aside, first year in and said, "Have you ever considered for-profit?" Because I just wanted things to move quickly, and I my heart is with nonprofit, and I'm glad I've been able to be involved with different ones over the years. But slowly moved into media relations, PR in San Francisco, and then I moved to New York for graduate school and was there for 4 or 5 years.
Nice. And you went to Columbia, right?
I did.
Okay, and what was your graduate degree in?
And I got an MBA.
Oh, that's an MBA from Columbia.
Yeah.
Okay, so the smartest person in the room is sitting on that side of the table.
I don't know, because
Incredible.
I spent way too much money on it, so I don't know how smart that is.
Well, I mean, I'm sure then you graduate from Columbia with an MBA and you could have your pick of any job you want at anywhere on Wall Street, right?
Yeah, well, you'd think that, but it was right after September 11th, so it was really challenging to find a job because I wasn't in finance. I was, coming from more of a marketing background, so I struggled finding a job, which is when I got into yoga.
Let's take it into that. So you're in New York.
Yes.
During, September 11th, 2001?
I was studying abroad that semester, so I was in Barcelona, Spain. Columbia has an exchange with ESA, a business school in Barcelona. So I was in Spain when it happened, which was kind of crazy, but moved back immediately after that to then finish my MBA. So I was there December,
And I'm guessing from the time that you left to go study in Barcelona to then come back, like, has to be very different.
It was crazy, but it was so community focused, and there was this sense of great strife, but where everybody was bonding and working together. But I was very stressed, and I was, I'm not from money, so I had all this grad school debt and was trying to find a job. So I ended up getting a pretty good post-MBA job, but in the interim, I was working at a clothing store. I was working at Marc Jacobs. I didn't even say I graduated IU. I just said I attended IU. They knew I'd be looking for something else, but
they're like, she's going to be here.
Yeah, she's going to leave. But it was a great
weeks.
job, and that's a whole other interesting story. But I got into yoga, and then I started.
What got you into yoga?
There was one near my apartment in New York, and initially I went, and I liked the feel of it. I liked what it did for my body. And then it has a way of slowly getting to you from a mindfulness. So and then over time, I enjoyed how it was making me feel. I went for the workout.
The workout feel.
Yeah, because the kind that I love is a active vinyasa, which is very athletic. Yeah, so that's when I got into yoga. I was working on Madison Avenue as part of the WPP group. Media conglomerate for a public relations firm, advertising firm, rotating through
Madison Ave advertiser. That would be a stressful life.
It was, and I thought it was one of those, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs have this, where they find themselves in a spot. I should be thrilled. I should be so happy. Like, this was my dream. I'm working on Madison Avenue. I'm in New York. I had great friends. And I was like, I cannot do this for 40 years. I just knew in my bones it wasn't for me, but I wasn't certain how to articulate that. So then my father, who is fine, he's living, he's healthy, still beats me at tennis, but had a heart attack. And so I was just not figuring out a way to make it work financially in New York, and thought, I need to move back to Indiana. Like, I'm going to be there for my family. My sister at that time has 3 kids. Now she has 5. So I thought it would be just, I'm going to come back. I'm going to open a yoga studio. I'm going to be here 5 years.
You go from attending your first class, and then how far down the journey were you like, I want to own a yoga studio?
So I did a yoga teacher training in New York, looked at opening a studio there. I always knew that there are really hardcore yogis that think about yoga all day, meditate for an hour, read books on yoga. And I knew I wasn't that person. I knew then, even if I wasn't able to articulate it, which I say now is I'm a business person first and a yoga person second. So once I decided that I was going to do it, it happened. I mean, there was a lot of work behind it, but I couldn't figure out the numbers from a rent standpoint to stay in New York. And then my family was pulling me back to Indiana. So then I was able to work remotely, and this was 20 plus years ago, so it was not as common then, but I was able to work for the agency and open my studio downtown Indianapolis.
Did they know you were opening a studio?
They didn't.
There it is.
But they got there, I worked around the clock, and it started out so small. I think we had 18 classes a week, and I taught, 85% of them. And now we have 250 classes a week. So it started out really small at the building we occupy now, just a sliver of it in the middle.
Well, I think a lot of people think they have to quit their job, raise all this money, go full on into this to make their entrepreneurship dream happen. And how long did you have a full-time job?
For 7 years.
So you're working remotely.
I did that for a year and a half. My salary was earmarked from a WPP rotational program. Agencies liked it because I was already paid for it. They had already earmarked my salary, so they could still bill me out from an agency wage. So they were happy, but I ended the year and a half rotational commitment. And then after that, I did branding and advertising and media relations work for Indianapolis companies.
Got you.
Yeah.
And did they know you had a yoga studio?
They did.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And I felt still high integrity with it because I worked all day on the agency and then would just work on the yoga stuff at night and in between. So
when you're willing to work after the hours, that's how you know you're on the right track.
Yeah.
When you're willing, it's 5 o'clock, cool, shut my laptop from marketing, advertising, branding, all that stuff, and work on the studio.
It's not for everybody, but we always say, like, keep that day job. Right around when that movie Eat, Pray, Love came out with Julia Roberts, we had this influx of people that were coming in. I quit my job. I'm going to become a yoga teacher. I'm going to do this. And we were like, okay, first go get your job back. And then, we'll slowly just see if you like it, keep your day job, and then slowly build. Yes.
What was the first big milestone you felt that you hit with Invoke?
It was probably being able to quit that day job where I was working in branding and advertising more for real estate companies. Like I helped 757 Mass Ave, which is a condo development and different condo developments downtown. And then when the market crashed, the real estate market, I continued to have a few other restaurant clients, but just thought, oh, this is a milestone. I think I can do it. I think I can quit my other things and just focus on the studio.
How much of it was working on the business versus teaching yoga classes?
That's a great question. And definitely started out with I taught 85% of the classes. I haven't taught a class in 3 years now. So
do you miss that?
I have such great teachers and we have such a great team that I'd rather let them shine and focus on the business aspects.
So how long from launching till you hit the milestone where you could do it full time?
That was 6 years. Yeah.
Let's just pause there.
Yeah.
6 years.
Yes.
Like you did this on the side for 6 years.
Well, it was more, it switched from where I still had little clients. So it was a pendulum that shifted. Where initially it was mostly the day job and then Invoke, and then my clients became less and less. And then that many years in, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna drop it all together.
How many classes were you offering?
Probably 75, maybe 50.
And this is like late 2010s?
Yes, and then around then I opened up a second location, which also is a big milestone.
So you were around 2011. Yoga is big, but it's not what it is today.
Yes.
I would assume.
It was pretty big, but we didn't have the franchise competition then. But opening that second location definitely skyrocketed things where there was just a lot of growth. And that location is at 86 and Ditch. And we both own our own businesses, but I share space with Dr. Marcus McRae, who's the Indianapolis Colts chiropractor. So that has just worked out so well. He's an amazing partner and has really high-level clients, and is just a awesome, awesome guy.
Do they go from getting their back adjusted to popping over to yoga class?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, everybody talks about synergy. It's an overused word, but we definitely have it, where we have clients that will shop retail, go to a yoga class, get adjusted. We also have a great massage therapist at that location, an esthetician, and so they can...
So if you go into the 86th and Ditch location, are you just going to see an offensive lineman for the Colts?
You can, yeah.
Like doing a yoga class?
Well, we do have different athletes. Miles Turner is a client downtown. We have...
like just a general client. Like you could walk into a studio to a class.
Yes, yeah. And
does he have an extra large mat?
Well, there are really tall. They're tall guy mats. There's tall and long guy mats. Yeah, but most of our clients don't notice. Like they just. If they do, I mean, Miles is 6'11", I think, so you notice him. But most people, it's a really respectful environment. We did have Caitlin Clark in a few weeks ago downtown because we share space with Karen Wiltrout of Indie Sports Massage, so she focuses on athletes. So Caitlin Clark came in and everybody went all fangirl. I think we were able to rein them in a little bit, and she still had a good experience.
Number one tip when you see someone famous is be cool.
Be cool. They're normal people.
Be cool.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh man.
Downtown location. We have a really amazing physical therapy company, Wildflower. They have their own physical therapy business within our location, and then Karen has Indie Sports Massage. So these little partnerships where they're just renting space from us, but we support each other as small business owners.
Well, so 20 years, I mean, running a business for 5 years or 10 years, like those are big milestones, but 20, holy smokes.
I know, it's crazy. It really doesn't, it's a long time.
And with the rise of fitness, you probably know better than I do. I feel like the last 7 years, group fitness, the Orange Theories, the Solid Cores, those have really, really exploded.
Boutique fitness has exploded. There are the franchises, which initially when I first opened, I was quite competitive and got a little jealous when a new place opened. And I shifted that at some point to an attitude of abundance. So I do think there's enough to go around. And there's great yoga studio owners, Hygiene of the Hot Room, there's City Yoga, Yoga 6 is now in Indy. Club Pilates, which is a big competitor, but they only really introduce people to Pilates. And then I find there's the attitude of abundance has served me where there's enough to go around.
Is there a national competitor for yoga studios?
There is. I mean,
chain?
Yoga 6 is one of them. There's some others, but that's probably the one in Indy that is the largest.
I have to imagine a place like Invoke, when you get clientele in there, they stay for a really long time.
They do. I'm really lucky. So I have some teachers that have been with me for 17, 18 years. And our clients, we're having a big party on January 18th, which is the actual day of our 20th anniversary. So it's really fun to text some of these OG clients and be like, please help us celebrate 20 years.
And through the years, right, I think a key difference maybe that I see in what I think gives you guys a ton of success is that you say business person first, yoga person second, because you have to know how to keep a business alive.
Yes.
Like a lot of people chase their passion, and so many people are out there on Instagram or wherever, on TikTok saying, go chase your passion. But if you don't figure out how to make a business out of it, you don't have to be a billionaire, but like you have to have the financial wherewithal to keep your business alive so that people can enjoy the yoga and enjoy the passion.
Yes, and I think our brand is community, so being able to keep that community open through paying the bills. We pay our teachers well, and in order to do that, I have to make enough money to make the numbers work. So,
what's been the biggest lesson that you've learned over the past 20 years of running a boat?
Well, the pandemic, it was brutal. It was really, so there are many lessons that I learned from that. The word most used for businesses around the pandemic is pivot, which we did. So we did on demand, we did live stream, and we were scrappy, but it was really tough. My revenues went down 70%. Your fixed costs stay the same. And because teachers are contractors rather than employees, we got very little PPP money. So it was just really brutal, but personally got more into mindfulness and fitness during that time.
I was going to say, the time when the world probably needed meditation, mindfulness, and community the most was the hardest time for you as a business owner to give it to them.
It was so hard. And I was at a point where I was maybe just going to walk away. But I didn't because of my teachers, some of whom, rely on this for their, it's their primary source of income, and the clients. This because the clients during that time period were so grateful and so committed, because I thought I'm going to be able to get another job or I'll start another business. But I'm really happy that I didn't. I'm happy that I leaned in, and we've paid off a lot of debt, and we've refocused and recommitted to the studio to keep it growing for more years.
I mean, it's an incredible journey. 20 years. I mean, that's wild. I want to dive a little bit into the benefits of mindfulness. Like everyone, I see tons of clips. Everyone's in the ice bath or this cold plunge or the sauna, the breath work, the yoga. And I know, especially if you're a high stressed individual, which lots of the world is today, there's tons of benefits. But I think prioritizing it and getting into it, like showing up at a yoga studio, I did, to put it out there. I went to Yoga 101, basically.
Yes.
You have a 4-class.
We have an intro to yoga.
Yes, intro to yoga. I went to this. And they do a great job. I'd never done a real yoga class before. I showed up, don't have a mat, don't have anything.
It can be daunting.
I'm a very extroverted person, so showing up to a new thing, to do something new, it's like what I do every single week or whatever. So for me, it's like, I was still a little bit anxious going in there. I'm going to try this thing. Like, what if I look like an idiot,
Yeah.
So I think that there's a lot of people that would want to do it, but has that barrier.
When I first opened, people didn't even know what it was. So now at least people are curious about yoga. Pilates is growing at a crazy clip. I think 30% growth every year. If I were to give advice, it is to just start slowly and don't think, I'm going to take 7 classes. I'm going to do 7 classes in a row or 4 classes or 5 classes a week. Start with a time and a teacher that works for you, even if it's just 1 class a week, and then stick with that class. And you'll see benefits just from 1 class a week. So you can obviously do yoga on YouTube.
What's the big YouTube channel?
I think it's Yoga with Adrienne or Yoga by Adrienne.
Yes.
Yeah, but I also celebrate that because she gets people into it. And what I think makes our brand distinct is the vibe. And it's the thing I love is the interior design and how can we create this calm, cultivated space that makes people feel relaxed and put their world behind them when they walk in.
The $1 million business idea, I run in a track club on Tuesday or Thursday mornings.
I think I saw that. So you ran this morning and it was 10 degrees or something?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Well, that's Wednesdays. I have another crew, but we have a bunch of guys, my college buddies. We all get together Thursday mornings and run.
Okay.
And
regardless of the weather.
Regardless of the weather.
That's impressive.
Yeah, we just go for it. And it's very much gritty, we're like a bunch of us have done ultra marathons or Ironman or just different high impact cardio stuff.
Yes.
And we all said, man, we should get into yoga. And so we started doing some YouTube stuff.
Okay.
And during the process, after one, it's just like a bunch of 20, low 30 something year old gym bros, right?
Sure.
And we said, there should be a Broga studio.
So we have had Broga classes in the past, but all of you guys need to be doing heated vinyasa. You need to be doing the hot, hard, athletic vinyasa. That is my favorite.
Okay.
And that is what, if you're young, you're fit. I'm glad you did the intro to yoga. It's a great way to start. But if somebody just wanted to take one class and they were like you, an athlete, I just throw them straight into the heated vinyasa because they know their body well enough to not get injured. And then you can see it is a workout. More running isn't going to help you, right? You got to do the cross training. You have to do the strengthening and the elongating. So it helps with injury prevention, core strength. Is obviously needed for a lot of athletics. So we have people that do Pilates reformers who rave about how it's helped their tennis game or their golf game.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And reformer, that's the big machine.
Yes, it's the Pilates reformer. So there's a number of different styles. So we have more of a traditional Pilates machine. We just changed machines. We made a huge capital investment and replaced all of our machines to move to balanced body, and they were installed yesterday.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that was 2024 was the year of financial. We really committed to spending and creating.
So 2025, brand new Pilates reformers at Invoke.
Yes.
Heck
yeah. I'm really excited.
I went to a solid core class. That's reformer Pilates, right?
It is. Well, those are mega reformers, which for people that are really specific about reformers would say that one's not a reformer. I think it is. I think it's Pilates still, but. Yeah, solid core is hardcore. It's a great workout.
Messes you up. Holy.
Yeah, so ours would maybe be a little more I like solid core. I go to solid core. I have a lot of respect for the owner, the founder of that, who sold it for $60 million. Not too long ago. But our style.
60?
Yeah, $60 million.
I kind of thought it'd be more.
I know. I did too. But yeah, she made a lot of money from it, so I think she's okay. I've heard her speak before. She's an inspiration. But yeah, our style, there's a little more hands-on assist. So we'd watch your form a little bit more. We're limited to 6 machines, where I think they have 12 or 20 depending on the location.
Did you ever have the itch to grow a huge yoga and Pilates company?
I have, yeah. But I am a bit of a free spirit. I do not have kids and I'm not married, so I'm able to work remotely. So I worked remotely from Bali for a month. I've just returned from New York, where I worked, for several weeks, and I work all the time. I'm just, doing it on my laptop. I don't know if I'd be able to do that if I had PE people, breathing down my neck. And we've just bootstrapped, and National Bank of Indianapolis has been very kind to us and given us various SBA loans over the years. I don't have investors, and I think that if I were to really grow like crazy, I do need to do a Carmel location. I'm positive of that. So yes,
our friends at JC Hart have a new building going up. Man, Midtown Carmel. It would be just south of where like Sun King and all that stuff is.
Oh, that'd be great.
New building going in there, and they're putting retail on the bottom.
Oh, I'll reach out to him.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Mark's a listener. He'll
that would be
hear
great.
This.
Yeah.
That would be a sweet spot because you could be right. I wonder if you could have garage doors open up right under the Monon.
I would love that. Yes. Yeah.
If this comes to life, we're going to go back and clip this.
You will. You'll
3 years from now.
You'll have a free year membership
there
for
we
the
go.
referral.
Come on. Well, because I do think, though, when you start to grow, it becomes your life is managing the investors, people management, even if it's whether it's yoga or whether it's media or whether it's anything, it just becomes so hard to be a free spirit and work in Bali for a month.
Yeah, and we've kind of squeezed out right now. If I would like to do a Carmel location, but we have added corporate classes. We have partnerships with Newfields and Holiday Park. We have a retail program, thanks to my great retail manager. Hannah Carlock.
What's a retail? What does
retail?
that mean?
So we sell yoga clothes and branded merchandise. So
Like your like Invoke branded?
yes, yeah. So we have great, retail spaces. We have great lobbies at both locations. So I kind of count our third location as all these add-ons. So we have teacher trainings. We have international retreats. Yvonne is one of my yoga teachers. They're leaving. Her and Megan are leaving, I think, this weekend to go to Costa Rica for a week. So we have 2 back-to-back retreats. So there's a way of growing our revenue without tons more brick and mortars. So I'd like that balance of.
Was that always a thing, or did COVID spike that and make you focus on that?
we meant to do. So I need to give some credit to my co-owner, Jillian McAfee. So over the pandemic, I gave her 10% ownership, which I'm so glad I did. And she's an amazing partner. So her and I, and she does more of she was the director of operations to start. She started out small, and then we've worked together for a decade now, and she's a great business partner. So her and I meant to do on demand and live stream way before, and then the pandemic hit, and we were like, okay, we have to do this. So we scrambled. My sister, who worked with me at the time, Tina Isaacson, also, like, we all worked around the clock around that deep pandemic time to get this up and running.
Like, turn on the cameras, let's go.
Yeah. So we all really worked together, and it's still going. And we have Invoke Studio on demand, which we use through Vimeo, which is kind of the Cadillac of the on-demand, space. And we really love it. So you can cast to your TV, you can watch it on your phone. And one of my teachers is dedicated to it, Jill Godwin. So she dedicates her time to, in addition to doing many other things, including being an awesome teacher, but she records teachers and put us on the on-demand platform. We have live stream, which we do through Zoom, which, on Monday when it was crazy snowing, we canceled classes and people joined us on Zoom. So that
is the nice part about yoga. Mm-hmm. You could go to your spare bedroom, roll out your mat, turn down the lights a little bit, light a candle,
people
and you
create
have
a vibe, and they love.
The
we're not going to compete with Peloton, right? Like I don't have those advertising dollars, but our crowd that loves our online platform are really loyal to the amazing teachers that we work with. So they will take their class, and they're in, we have clients that are in Florida for the winter who log on. We have young mothers who may not always be able to make it into the studio. So they love that we have that option.
Who's the longest standing client at Invoke?
Kathy Davis, the former lieutenant governor, was an original client. She no longer, I think she does online with us still. So it's just amazing to have those really dedicated clients that we've watched. I was 30 when I started, and I just turned 50 this year. So just to watch, the growth of all of us changing and growing, and that time is a really amazing thing to watch. We've just watched that community flourish.
The community. How do you cultivate community within, whether it's a gym or another company? How do you cultivate that community?
That's the most important thing. So the staff, we work hard. Haley is another manager we have that is dedicated to our Invoke Warriors. So they're members. So we might have member events. Studio-wide, we also do a lot of fundraising. I've been committed to Coburn Place.
What's Coburn Place?
Coburn Place is a center for individuals that are victims of domestic violence in downtown Indianapolis. So we've had fundraising and drives, for them since we opened 20 years ago. I'm also unapologetically liberal, so we do Indiana Youth Group and Planned Parenthood, and we're really committed to giving back to the community. Jillian, my business partner, is really committed to Little Red Door, a cancer, if you worked with them. So they're a great organization. We teach yoga classes at their organization. To whomever wants to attend, it's free. And we have fundraising classes for them.
Amazing. I think that, especially if the goal is, it should be for anything, but we want to be a staple yoga Pilates in the Indianapolis, Central Indiana community. Tying and working to actually be members of the community,
yes.
Like go into, not just having some sort of philanthropic thing. Obviously, it's good just to have it. But we tie ourselves. We have these specific agencies, specific organizations that we care about, that our members care about, whether there's a reason, like a direct tie. I think that's amazing. And it really helps you be part of the community.
It does, and it's authentic, and I think our clients know it's authentic, and we really want to give back. So we also have classes that we've had since the beginning, community classes on Sundays that started out $5, now they're $15. But it's a way to have classes that, people can afford.
Well, and you have some interesting partnerships and classes in outside of the studio.
We do. Something that I just adore is we have a partnership with Newfields where we teach yoga classes in the Loom. We have a couple coming up, and then we teach yoga in the garden with them. And then Holiday Park is amazing. We teach our outdoor yoga classes there right near the ruins. Right
the
near
ruins,
yeah.
right? Holiday Park and Newfields, the whole thing. Those are two really cool spots that I wouldn't think about. I'm going to go take a yoga class at the Loom.
It is.
That's crazy.
There's one thing because I have a marketing, I have a business, I have a sales background, but to be taking a class at Holiday Park and see a hawk come and land on a pole and just hear the fountain and the sounds of the birds. I mean, it is a really immersive, beautiful experience that celebrates Indianapolis.
All right, folks, Mother's Day is around the corner, and I'm going to help you get prepared. Ditch the Amazon or Target candle and get mom something from Warm Glow Candle Company. They're based out in Centerville, Indiana, and they make some of the best candles I have ever smelled. They have made my house smell unreal. They aren't your average candle that burns out in 5 minutes. Oh, no. Your mom is going to get tons of use out of this, and every time she lights it, she's going to be thinking about how you are her favorite child. I love the apple cinnamon and the creamy vanilla bean, but my absolute favorite is the blueberry cobbler. It smells just like visiting my grandma's house after she spent all Saturday morning baking. If you've ever driven eastbound 70, you have probably seen their massive candle where the shop is, but you can also order online and they'll ship them right to your door. I know you're going to get your mom a candle for Mother's Day. Now you can do that and support an awesome Hoosier business in the process. Head to warmglow.com to check out all their amazing scents. Now let's get back to the episode. Oh, I mean, super, super cool. If you had one class that you could take on repeat for forever, what would it be?
Heated Vinyasa.
Heated Vinyasa.
Yes. So
how hot does it get?
It's around 100 degrees, but it's the humidity. So our heated studios have infrared panels as well as customized HVAC systems, which tied into added humidity. So you want the humidity super high. There's many benefits. There's different studies, but you just feel great, especially this time of year. To take a hot yoga class, it allows you to, lengthen and open up the muscles, and you sweat a lot. You just feel amazing after. And a lot of our teachers have great playlists. Megan, Yvonne, Andrea, they just have an awesome playlist. So you're just in this warm sauna-like atmosphere, working your butt off and burning a lot of calories. But also, more importantly, you end in Shavasana. It's mindful. You're present. You leave your phone away. You are in that room, and a lot of people worry like, oh, I'm going to sweat a lot, or I'm not flexible. Like, nobody cares. Your space is that mat, and nobody's watching you. Nobody cares if you're sweating. Nobody cares if you're not great at yoga. It's just that space where you're in a communal experience, but that is individually challenging.
I've told lots of times. So I'm a wrestling coach at Chatard.
I didn't know that. Okay,
yeah,
great.
And we get the room.
We need to have those guys in.
Yeah,
let's have it. We'll chat
that would
after.
Be super fun.
They would love it. They would love it.
We started doing 5-minute yoga kind of at the end once a week, but it's not real yet. It's just hot stretching is what we do.
Yes, yeah.
But that would be really fun, and they would really like that, especially after. The room gets to 85, 90 degrees, so and it's obviously high intense. But there is something special when you walk from a really hot room and then after you kind of cool down and then go out into the cold, you're just like, wow, I was so warm. And there's something special about it.
There really is.
We'll talk about mindfulness. It's very important, but it's been rapidly increasing the amount of times I hear the word mindfulness.
It has been, and it can seem like a gimmick, but it really works. So meditation, I've been meditating for 25 years. I don't talk about it that much other than obviously we have meditation sessions, but way before I opened the studio, I was doing meditation weekends. It is life-changing, and it can seem daunting, but if you just even want to think of 5 or 10 minutes a day, if I feel like we have something in common, we're always thinking and doing 100 things a minute, it just to listen to your breath and sit for 5 or 10 minutes.
That's the hardest part. The hardest part. If you have a mind that it never stops, sitting there and doing nothing.
We do offer a free meditation session with Anna Hoke, and she's a teacher and her husband was with me 20 years ago. He's retired, but we still work together. She's lovely. So she teaches a free meditation class, half-hour downtown every Saturday or every Sunday if somebody wanted to try it. People picture sitting cross-legged like sitting on a mountain for 4 hours. Oh. It doesn't have to be like that. It could be, just a walking meditation where you leave your phone at your desk, you walk around the block for 10 minutes. Notice the sounds of the city around you. Look at the blade of grass. Like, It can just be that attempt of being present in this world where we get dings, we get notifications. It doesn't need to be, okay, I'm going to block out 4 hours and I'm going to meditate and be really serious. It just is this bringing attention back to your breath. And even experienced meditators still have thoughts that come into their head. It's not that you just go into a blank void. It's the focus on training the mind to calm.
And when you say time away from your phone, holy smoke.
No, I mean, I'm an addict. We all are. It definitely.
It is so noticeable when you go and spend, whether it's 10 minutes or you put it in the other room when you go to sleep or whatever it is. Because it's like the last thing you look at before you go to bed, the first thing you look at when you go to wake up in the morning. And you're just like, whoa.
I try to use an old school alarm so that I don't wake up with my phone, but I'm not perfect with it. Sometimes if I can't fall asleep, it's right there. But in an ideal world, my phone is charging in a different room and I use my old school alarm clock. But I'm not perfect. I'm learning, I'm still working on this. So many of my teachers are so much better at the mindfulness piece than I am. They really live it and breathe it. And
do you have tips if people don't practice any mindfulness right now in the next year? This is January of 2025 when we're recording this. In the next calendar year, how could we put more mindful practices into
That's a great question.
place?
I mean, you can use your phone for it. Headspace and Calm are great apps. If you wanted to be in a communal experience, you could take Anna's class for free on Sundays. You could join online. YouTube has tons of free meditation. For some people, they're not interested in sitting still, so they may do a moving meditation, which is yoga. So yoga is a moving meditation. Vinyasa, which is the primary style of yoga we teach, we have other styles too, means movement with breath. So with that, if you're focused on an in, focusing on X, you are in a state of moving meditation.
I like that. I think the idea of 5 minutes a week or whatever it is very approachable.
Yes.
Go find a YouTube video, go to the class on Sunday.
I love Headspace. Headspace is a great app. And
is that the Australian?
Yeah, I think is he British? Or yeah. He just has a great voice. I've referred that to a lot of people who have really loved it. But once you start meditating for a while, like now I just put a timer in my phone. I have it in a different room. And I know when the 15 or 20 minutes is up. Like but because I've been doing it for so long, but it doesn't need to seem super daunting. It's just like anything else. You just need to start. And it's more about, I think, more about consistency than it is the time that you spend doing it in one shot.
I love that. I think too many people, whether it's working out or meditating or writing or reading or whatever it is, New Year's comes, everyone says, I have to be a totally new person next week.
Yeah.
And then they burn out on it.
I love the book
the
Atomic Habits. Have you? And that's a great,
James Clear.
Yeah, so great. So just start reading that book. You don't need to change your whole world and like that, but tiny incremental changes can have such a great impact.
December is the time you see all these videos. It's like, I'm going to run a marathon and I'm going to be a power lifter and I'm going to meditate and I'm going to write every day and I'm going to do 365 hard.
Yes, every single day. And then by February 1st or January 15th, they're done. Yeah. We're really packed this time of year. I'm not going to lie.
Yes.
So,
hey, not so bad.
But some people leave, some people stick with it. So we do love January every year.
All gyms.
I mean,
right?
obviously it's lucrative, but I want to be able to reach people
and retain them.
Yes, yeah. And
that would be interesting to track how many people came in on a New Year's resolution and it actually changed their life.
We definitely have some of those clients that it has, but maybe it doesn't have to happen on January 1st, right? We have different people throughout the year that
it's not too late.
They commit to something and you watch them change. Those are the stories that are the most meaningful, and how we've been open for 20 years is you helped me through my divorce. I lost a child. I moved to Indianapolis is where I met people. We've had several marriages. We've that where they meet. It's a place to hang out with cool people in a great space and get healthier and happier.
Well, it's been a heck of a run so far, 20 years down.
Yeah.
What do we have to look forward to for the next 20 years for you and for Invoke?
Yeah, so we just did a big capital investment on the reformers and we did lobby renovations. So 2025 will be the year of growing and seeing the benefits of those capital investments. Personally, and it is linked to health and wellness, my sister and I, Tina Isaacson, are building a cabin in Brown County. There's going to be an Airbnb and a health and wellness. So we're having a barrel sauna and a hot tub and a cold plunge, and it's a really beautiful.
When's this
space.
going to open?
Well, hopefully this spring. This is going to be really nice. Yeah.
All right, sign me up.
And then I need to do a Carmel location, and I would love if anybody is listening and wants to partner with me on a sauna and cold plunge experience, which I'd like to have in the basement of my downtown studio. So that is this beautiful old 1850 expanded on 1870 building that I've heard from Indiana historians was part of the Underground Railroad. So there's just so much history and soul, and it has this great basement space that I would like to turn into a sauna, like a communal sauna experience.
Someone
Partner
out
for
there,
that. Yes.
someone out there is going to hear this and say, "Oh, sauna, cold plunge."
I would love that. But we need to do a Carmel location. But my managers are like, can you slow your roll a little bit? So we'll do things mindfully like we always have and kind of slowly grow.
I love that. This has been a great conversation. We do wrap up every episode with a little bit of a lightning round.
Yeah.
So I have some fun yoga, mindful, wellness specific questions.
Okay.
That we're going to start with. So if you could only pick one, yoga or Pilates?
Yoga, but it has to be heated and hard.
All right, fair. What's your favorite quote or your personal mantra?
As part of meditating, you can add a word to an inhale and a word to an exhale. So it's a great way to, if instead of saying in as you inhale, out as you exhale, you can add words to that. So sometimes I do inhale calm, exhale peace. Yeah, so as you inhale, you say calm, exhale peace, or inhale calm, exhale grounded. So I've been doing that on and off for years.
Do you like walk outside barefoot?
I mean, I love to, but I don't it's one of those health and wellness things that I'm going to ground from, 10 a.m. to 10:30. But
every morning I walk outside barefoot in the winter and get direct sunlight to the eyeball.
Oddly barefoot more than my friends, I think it's just, I walked around barefoot in a studio on and off for 20 years. So yes, I love walking. I love the beach. I love walking in the grass. I'm not scared of bugs, but I'm not carving out 10 minutes a day to do it.
Do you know Huberman?
I was sad about that Vanity Fair article.
Oh, is that him?
He has 20 girlfriends. It really killed, but I
got to separate the art from the artist, I suppose.
I know.
But it's like,
because he's my age, and I'm like, dude, just don't have 20 girlfriends, or don't be doing IVF with one woman and then have like 4 other girlfriends. Oh. But his message is great, and he has introduced a lot of health and wellness experts to a lot of people.
I love it. It's a great way, but I think you have to pick and choose. There are a lot of people that try to.
Yeah, you can't do it all.
You would not have any time for anything else if you did everything.
Well, and I believe in health and wellness. I also want to try to be healthy in my body. So the supplements I take, I take colostrum, I take this, I take that. I'm like, at some point I need to stop, I'm doing turmeric. Like at which point is there too many?
Yeah. And it's super easy, I feel like, to look at what the most famous or wealthiest people, I wake up every morning and from 5 to 9 a.m. I'm doing all of these things. Yes,
because they maybe don't have jobs.
Yeah, us normal people have to go work.
The main thing is mostly eat whole foods, move your body, rest your mind. It doesn't need to be that crazy.
Move your body, rest your mind. That might be the mantra.
Yeah, I like that better. Let's take out the other one.
Yeah. Move your body, rest your mind.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Eat healthy.
Eat healthy.
Yes. Yeah.
That can be challenging at times.
Yeah.
What's the craziest yoga pose that you've learned?
Well, I can do this pretty easily, and it's sort of a party pleaser. So you do crow to headstand.
Oh.
If I didn't have a skirt on, I could do it right now. I've done it so many times.
What's crow?
Crow is where you balance on your hands like this.
Oh,
you could do that. And
then
you
go up to headstand?
Yeah, so then you put your head down, go up to handstand, then you go back to crow, and then you can kick back to a chaturanga, which is like a tricep push-up.
Yeah, okay.
I have the strength stuff down. So when people are like, I cannot do yoga, I'm not flexible, I have owned a studio for 20 years. I'm the least flexible yogi that you'll know because I still do strength training. I still do other things. I play tennis. I'm not naturally flexible. So you do not have to be flexible to do yoga. I'm not flexible, and I own the studio and do yoga all the time.
What's your most memorable moment from Invoke Studio class?
Well, one was really funny. So we have worked with the Pacers over the years, and we taught a class to the team before preseason. And Megan and Yvonne, I think, were leading the class, 2 amazing teachers, and I was assisting, meaning walking around and helping to put it was their players and their staff into different poses. And I adjusted pigeon pose is where you stretch the hip. And so it's with the whole Pacers, it's in their, practice facility with their staff. And I adjust I'm not looking because everybody's head is down. I can't see who everybody is, but I adjust a player in pigeon pose. And then I hear this, and then they flow, Vinyasa, you flow through, you do different poses, and then you're back to the other hip. You're back to their knee in front, back, stretching the hip. And I hear this, hey, shorty, hey, Invoke, because I had an Invoke shirt on. And I was like, oh, sorry, you talking to me? And he was like, yeah, I need the other side, meaning the other hip. And he was right. He did need the other side. So it was Paul George. So I was like, this moment, like to be a Hoosier girl in Indiana, I went to, just to like have this amazing experience, be called, I was like, I've never been called Shorty before. And he's like, did you like it? And I was like, yeah, I did. So just have this interaction with Paul George in the Pacers facility was just amazing.
While you were going through, I was like, did she adjust Larry Bird's hips while he was at it?
I'm not that old.
There you go. Well, he was part of the staff.
Oh, that's true. He was part of the staff. I don't think he was there. I don't think he was there. I would have noticed.
That's a memorable moment.
But Victor was, though. Oladipo was. Yeah.
There's a Hoosier, right?
Yeah. Yes. He is.
Is that great. One of those moments where you just kind of pinch yourself?
It was so, I felt, I rarely, it's the Hoosier humbleness. I rarely stop and think about it. But that was like, this is cool. Like, this is a really, it's obviously not everybody's a professional athlete, but, to make a difference in people's lives and to, it's like this, I need to remember this. I need to take a moment.
Oh my gosh, for sure.
Because it was funny too. It was like fun and light and joyful. It was great.
Those are definitely the moment, but you got to be cool.
I was pretty cool. Chill. I mean, I was like, hey, I've never been called Shorty before.
Yeah,
you know,
so. You gotta be chill. What is your favorite self-care activity outside yoga, a hot Vinyasa yoga?
Okay, so I do like Pilates reformers. I think that's my favorite combo is a challenging Pilates reformer yoga class. I'm into saunas, so I belong to North Mass Boulder. They have a sauna there, so I do 30 minutes there. I really try to do that 30 minutes of I'll listen to either a podcast like yourself or calming music.
Yeah, I would not say that my podcast is the calming.
No. I did listen to you in the sauna last night. So yeah,
let's go.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, that's a good. I think time in the sauna and just being chill.
When walking, we have such great, like Eagle Creek is amazing. Holiday Park is great. The Brown County. And walking around neighborhoods, just being outside and walking. Yeah. The benefits of that are documented, but just to get away from your screen and be outside.
Amen. Yeah. That could be the whole title, Get Away From Your Screen.
Get away from your screen, yes.
Okay, I asked these same 3 questions to everyone who sits in that chair. What's something the world needs to know about Indiana?
I think the strength of entrepreneurship. So I thought a lot about this, and initially I had a lot of naysayers when I first opened 20 years ago. Like, what are you doing? Why are you opening in downtown? Nobody needs a yoga studio. And that might be the same in every culture, but I think Indiana may be a little more risk averse. But once you start, and if you feel like you're going to do it, you can do it. I love the support of the other entrepreneurs in the state. And it is an easy place to open a business. It's just, the cost of living and the expenses. And I really feel fortunate that a lot of us know one another, especially the brick and mortars, whether they're restaurants. Mike Cunningham, I had a great chat with once, and Martha Hoover, who I just view as, I keep trying to get her to be my mentor. She's not interested.
Martha was just a guest.
She was.
She came on maybe 3 weeks ago.
I'll have to listen to it.
We're going to drop that episode. We'll be really close.
It hasn't dropped yet. I adore her. I just think she's amazing. She's a client, but she's great. But
you keep, hey.
No, I keep following her.
You're in the middle of flow. She's like, hey, will you be my mentor?
Yeah, like, Martha. Like, hi. No, I'm just joking.
Be cool.
She doesn't have time, but I want her to know how much she does for our community. And I just adore her. But even, the Just Pop In girls around the corner. And there's just so many amazing people doing really, Ed Rusial, Neil Brown is a friend of mine. It's nice to talk to other entrepreneurs, and it's a great place to bring in things that you feel soulful and connected to, and people respond to it.
When you're doing it, when you're out there doing it, Hoosiers are good at supporting. There might be the risk-adverse naysayers like, oh, that's scary, that's this, that's that. But like Martha, I think it was 35 years ago, opening a breakfast and lunch joint. Like,
and she was a lawyer. Yeah. They were like, keep your law job. In my case, but I knew it in my bones. So if you can just hone in, listen to yourself, and then move forward, then people were supportive. But once you build something to your vision, keep your vision. Don't talk to too many people. You don't want to dilute it. Keep your vision. Get outside help, obviously. But then people will love it and support it. And it's been a great place to have a business for 20 years.
And I couldn't agree more. What is a hidden gem in Indiana?
I don't know how hidden it is, but Holiday Park, as we've mentioned, we have yoga classes there, but they just have so much cool stuff going on. And I just think it's such an elegant park in the middle of the city. My nephew took his girlfriend ice skating the other day. I think they have that going on for a couple more weeks. So with Rock the Ruins, and what a beautiful park in the middle of the city.
Rock the Ruins concert series. Ice skating in the winter. I think they do a trail run, 5K, maybe some other races
and then their nature
there.
center. They're just so committed. Friends of Holiday Park. If anybody wants to make a donation to them, they're the ones that got us into teaching yoga there, which we do all summer. And it's one of my most favorite things we do is our classes there.
Final question: who is a Hoosier that we need to keep on our radar? Someone who's doing big things.
So I love these guys so much. So Tom and Ed Batista, they are just such an amazing entrepreneur, father, son. Tom actually showed me when I was still living in New York, a commercial property that he owns. He was Jimmy Buffett's stage manager for 30 years. And in the 80s, you need to have them on. They are fascinating. So he showed me at one of his commercial spaces that was available on Mass Ave. It wasn't a great fit, but we became friends during that. But yeah, when he wasn't on the road, he had a family and kids. And he was like, Amy, everybody else was, spending women on drugs and women in the off season. And I'm married with kids, so I just bought buildings. So he bought all these buildings on Mass Ave for like $15,000 or $20,000.
What's this guy's name?
Batista. So he is behind Bluebeard. He's an investor in Milktooth, Amelia's.
First name?
Tom, and Ed is his son, Batista. So he just had the idea, like Amelia's, because he's an Italian heritage, there wasn't great bread. So he started Amelia's, which is my favorite coffee and pastry shop downtown. They have, they opened one up in the Stutz building. I recently spoke to him. He said they are expanding their facilities so that they can have more production. He's behind Can. He started, he has various business partners. I'm not certain how they're, percentage wise, but his idea or vision was on the plot of land right near the interstate. The name is escaping me, but he just created this little park so that you could see the cars pass on the.
Is that where the little stadium seats are?
Yes,
in Fountain
yeah.
Square?
So that was his vision. So I feel so fortunate that I met him just when I was visiting my parents, and that watching what he has created and what he has done. He's such a visionary, and his son, Ed, opened up Milktooth, and I know they're involved in, the various companies. I look forward to seeing what, he and his son and their various business partners are going to do.
I love that. Is an awesome Hoosier that we definitely need to get on the show.
Yeah, and he worked with P-Funk, David Bowie. Like, he's a fascinating person.
The story's 30 years on the road with Jimmy Buffett.
Yes, yeah, you should have him in here. He's a character.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on and being a guest. This was amazing. Congrats on 20 years with Invoke.
You.
I can't wait to see
all of the events are at Invoke Studio /anniversary if anybody wants to do some of the events.
Where can people connect with Invoke and with you on social?
So yeah, mine is just Amy Peddycord, AMYPEDDYCORD, and then Invoke Studio Indy is our Insta, and InvokeStudio.com.
Heck yeah. Thank you so much. Keep up the great work. We'll have to check back in the next 20 years,
Such
right?
Such a pleasure. Yeah. Thanks so much.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Get In. If you like what you heard, make sure you leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. This show is made possible by our friends up at Sweetwater. Whether you're looking to start a podcast or take your content to the next level, click the link in the description to see all of my gear recommendations at sweetwater.com. If you want a behind the scenes look at everything we're doing across the state, make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Nate Spangle. Thank you so much for listening and being part of what makes the Hoosier State great. We'll see you next time here on Get In.